Norma Foley, the Minister for Education, she wanted to bring to the leaving certs in 3 days a week. Couldn't do it. Everybody and their mothers told to get it. You have to laugh because it's an utter defeat for the government. They couldn't do it. Like, honest to God, the amount of stress and the amount of hassle they had gone through in the last 24 hours. They only signed off for it yesterday. And you know what? They didn't listen to this. There's so much to talk about here. Listen to this. They didn't even tell the teachers' unions. They didn't even tell them. They went ahead with a grand screen plan. They didn't tell anybody. They said, let's open the schools, but we're not going to tell anybody until we go up and talk about it ourselves. And they didn't tell the teachers' union. They didn't tell anybody. They didn't advise any schools. They didn't tell deputy principals. They didn't tell anybody. They thought that everybody would just roll over and listen to the government. But again, no, we are free speech government. Even though you're trying your best. They give you that. But it's an utter fail. It is an utter fail. Like, Norma Foley must be waging because she wanted to keep schools open. She's waging. And it's not much loss. Because guess what? The biggest teacher union pulled out. The biggest teacher union pulled out of the talks. There are talks today. And the biggest teachers union said, full stop, we're not sending our teachers in. Now, and then the other teachers unions were saying we're not sending our teachers in because the health and safety concerns, because the pay, and because of fear, if general, and because the leaving. So the deputy principals and principals union was saying about the leaving cert should be cancelled, and they're not going into school until it's cancelled, more or less what they're saying. So Norma Foley's meeting with people tomorrow to see about it, and I hope the leaving cert will be cancelled because, my God, the amount of uncertainty that woman has caused. She's the most hated woman in the Irish Republic at the moment, and that's saying something. Because there's a lot of women in government you would like to give out to be honest. Like Joan Borden, the time Joan Borden, like, she fucked over everybody in Labour by taxing single mothers, like, for example. Nobody ever forgot that of Labour. Nobody will ever forget what Labour did to single mothers. And for the workers, they absolutely abandoned the workers. But yeah, so Norma Foley's the most hated one apart from Joan Borden now. But yeah, then there was loads of strikes. So I was actually going to be involved in one of the strikes too, because we were just going to sit at home. We weren't going to do anything with them. There was nearly 6,000 or 7,000 in Cardiff. I think 6,000 or 7,000 around the country taking part of that, students. I was obviously involved in that too. And then obviously there's going to be strikes from parents and things like that, and there's children, and so there would have been a big clusterfuck. Like, they couldn't do anything. They couldn't go left, they couldn't go right, they couldn't go here, they couldn't go there, they couldn't go backwards. Everybody was just like, fuck you, Irish government, you're cunts. And they wouldn't be too wrong in saying that. It's a great show up for the government, because nobody's going to stand for their bullying. Because they really just said, they didn't even advise the teachers and the teachers' unions. They just, Norma Foley came out and said, you all have to go back to school for 3 days a week. It's extremely necessary, the procedure from the Department of Education, and nobody can challenge this. And then the next day, everybody in the country is making show of Norma Foley on Twitter and on Facebook and everything like that. And there's not much loss, because at the end of the day, I don't know where they pulled it out of their ass and said this will be feasible and this can be done. Because where did they get this logic? In England and in Northern Ireland, they had a bit of brains. They were like, let's cancel our leaving sort of there, and let's not cause uncertainty and stress for our students. They have brains. In this country, no brains. This department has no brains. It just goes to show you, complete clusterfuck. Like, literally, they couldn't make up their mind if they had the last thing to do. Like, everybody went against them. Literally everybody. The parents went against them, the teachers went against them, the deputy principals and principals unions went against them, all the unions went against them, NEFID went against them, the HSE went against politicians, schools were going to, principals were going to close schools, and deputy principals were going to close schools, and disavowed the Department of Education's authority, and basically put their jobs on the line, just because they wouldn't open the schools to the students and everything like that. And they were not going to listen to NEFID, they were not going to listen to the Department of Education. NEFID wasn't happy, totally hooligan. Everybody was up in arms. And no, they couldn't do anything. They just literally couldn't do it. If they kept it going, there'd be civil war. Like, yeah, there would have been, like, Norma Foley, I'm sorry to say, but your days are numbered. I don't think you ever get in again. Everybody will remember you sending children to school when everything else was closed. And if you leave the leaving stuff going on tomorrow, everybody in this country will be up in arms again. So I'm just advising you, Noah. I'm advising you because I know your father was very crooked. You're probably getting some backroom deals, just to say. But I have to say, The people have spoken. The people can decide for themselves what they take. Because again, the government want to decide what the people should do, what the people can do, what the people shouldn't be doing. But the people, the Irish people, can say to the government, we demand we not have this or we do this. We are in charge. We are you masters. And it's simple as that. The politicians, we pay our politicians. So the people decide what, it's like sign language, what is necessary. And poor Noah thought she could disavow the Irish people. It went well, didn't it? It went very well. But such a clusterfuck. The other day they were like, let's open the schools. We're going to decide Monday. We're going to open the schools Monday. No, then we're going to close the schools. Then we're going to bring in the 6. Then we're going to open special education. Then we just went on for about that for fucking God knows how long. Caused so much uncertainty, so much stress. It's bollocks. It's really, really bollocks. And it just goes to show you, no logic in this country. Thank you.